Today, we're going to talk about something we all deal with, insults. And we're not just going to talk about how to survive them, but how to actually master the moment, maybe with a little bit of style.
You know that feeling, right? Someone says something and it just hits you, and you're either totally stunned, can't think of a thing to say, or you're just seeing red. Yeah, we've all been there. It's just a horrible, uncomfortable feeling.
Well, here's the thing, and this is really the core of what we're looking at today. That first instinct you have, the one that tells you to either fight back or just crumble, it's almost always, well, it's wrong. It's probably the worst thing you can do. All right, so let's get into it. The very first thing you need to do, and this is before you even think about saying a word, is to just stop. You got to analyze what just happened. Is this even really an insult to begin with?
And that analysis is basically a super quick mental checklist. Just 3 simple questions you ask yourself in that moment. Number 1, is there any truth to what they said? Number 2, who is this person really? And number 3, why are they saying it?
And here's why that matters so much. If the person saying it is someone you actually respect, well then it's not really an insult, is it? It's feedback. It's something you can learn from. But if it's coming from someone you don't respect, then who cares? Their words are just noise. It's like a dog barking, you know? Either way, you don't actually have to get offended.
Okay, so what happens when we don't do that? When we just skip the analysis and go straight to reacting? Well, that's when we fall into 2 classic traps. These are the 2 most common responses, and they are also, by far, the weakest.
And this is really where you have a choice. You can go down the path of those weak, instinctive responses, or you can choose the powerful, effective path. So let's start by looking at what we shouldn't be doing.
All right, weak response number 1, and this is the big one, is anger. Just pure, raw emotional reaction. And look, I get it. It feels so justified in that moment. But what it really does is hand all of your power right over to the other person.
I mean, think about it. Getting angry is basically a massive strategic mistake. For one, it signals to them that, hey, their opinion actually matters to you. It also kind of suggests they've hit a nerve, that maybe there's some truth to what they said. And on top of all that, it just makes you feel awful and unstable, and it pretty much invites them to keep poking at you.
Okay, so weak response number 2 is retaliation. You know, that urge to fight fire with fire. You want to come up with that perfect comeback, that killer line that's just going to shut them down completely.
But there are a couple of problems with this. First, you know how it is. That perfect line usually pops into your head like 3 hours later when you're in the shower. The French even have a name for it, staircase wit. But honestly, even if you do manage a great comeback right in the moment, all you've really done is drop down to their level. You've basically told them, yep, your insult was good enough to get a reaction from me.
So if getting angry is bad and trying to get even is also bad, what's left? Well, let's talk about a much, much better way to handle this. And it turns out one of the best tools you have isn't a weapon at all. It's humor.
A little bit of wit, a little bit of humor is just brilliant. Why? Because it does 3 things all at once. It totally takes the sting out of the insult, it makes the other person look kind of silly, and, this is a big one, if anyone else is around, they're immediately on your side. You're not fighting. You're just dissolving the whole situation.
And we've got a fantastic example of this from history. So you have this Roman statesman, Cato. An opponent literally spits on him. Now, he could have flown into a rage, right? But instead, he just calmly wipes his face and comes back with his absolutely killer line. He used his wit to show everyone just how crude the other guy was. And it's not just Cato. Take Socrates. The story goes his wife was yelling at him, and then she dumps a bucket of waste on his head. And what does he do? He doesn't get angry. He just calmly makes this witty little comment. He basically turned what should have been a totally humiliating moment into a legendary story about his own composure.
Here's another great tactic you can use. Just agree with them, but then take it a step further. If someone points out a flaw, you can say something like, "Oh, you think that's bad? If you really knew me, you'd find way worse stuff." It completely takes the wind out of their sails. I mean, where can they even go from there?
Now, humor is great. It really is. But let's be honest, it takes some quick thinking. You have to be on. So there's actually an even more powerful and, frankly, way easier response. And that is just indifference. Just think about the energy it takes to come up with a clever comeback versus just ignoring it. By treating the insult like it's not even worth your time, you save all that mental energy. Plus, it shows a level of self-control and strength that's way more impressive than any zinger. And we go back to our friend Cato for the absolute masterclass in this. So, a guy accidentally hits him at the public baths. Later, the man comes to apologize, and Cato doesn't say it's okay. He says, "I don't remember being struck." Wow, what a power move. He just completely erased the whole thing from his mind.
The power in that is just huge. What he's really saying is, you are so insignificant to me that what you did didn't even make a dent. I literally don't care enough to even remember it. That is the ultimate way to dismiss someone.
So when you put it all together, the analysis, the humor, the indifference, it all points to one single massive takeaway, one core truth about dealing with insults.
And here it is. No one can offend you without your consent. Let that sink in. The insult is just words floating in the air. The actual offense, the hurt feeling, that's created by your reaction. And your reaction, that's the one thing in the whole world you have 100% control over.
It all comes down to perspective, right? You don't get mad at a dog for barking. That's just what dogs do. Well, some people are just rude. That's what they do. Once you expect rude people to be rude, you can't really be surprised or offended by it. You're not their target anymore. You're just watching them be themselves.
So that's the final question, really. An insult is basically someone trying to pull you into a power struggle. And the next time that happens, who's going to be in control? Because by choosing how you react, by choosing humor, or even better, indifference, you're the one who gets to decide who holds all the cards.